Hi, Rich. So, yeah, I wanted to pick up on a couple of the conversations we've had recently, and I know we've covered topics such as renewables and then the procurement market and some of the significant movements we're seeing in the marketplace at the moment. But wanted to take it a step back a little bit and talk around the data side of it and how important a strong foundation of data is before you move on to the likes of the sustainability, procurement, and efficiency strategies.
Yeah, it's a really interesting subject, Dave, isn't it? I wouldn't say it's necessarily the most exciting topic that customers, when they think about the things that get them really going about energy, then obviously it's about savings, and it's about
Yeah.
certainly embracing renewables are the exciting things. But I think it's really important to stress that we see data as the foundation of all successful energy and sustainability strategies, and that's borne out by the customers that we work with that have managed to effectively harness their data and really drive insight from it over the years. But I don't know about you, but the reality is, I'm still speaking to customers who perhaps have data, tucked in pockets, Excel sheets here, don't have full visibility across the portfolio, and it just feels like, especially now at this time of wider disruption for most businesses, that they're really, that's a real challenge that needs to be surmounted. I mean, are you seeing sort of elements of best practice elsewhere in the conversations you have?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. See a lot of businesses now, and sometimes it can be the way the businesses have grown. And if it's by acquisition, that can provide its own challenges around legacy systems, portals, and different ways of collecting data. And it is a big job to bring that all together. But seeing people, at different stages in that process, and I think it comes down to having a really strong data collection strategy, setting that up in the right way, but also maintaining it ongoing and making sure you've got clear management of that. And we're seeing a lot of advantages around the different ways the process has become automated as such. And it is a lot easier now to reach out and have relationships with those suppliers that can give you clear visibility of that data. There's a lot of data out there. It's just making sure that you're getting access to it and visibility holistically across your portfolio. So I think you're talking around many different sources, locations, and engaging with a number of different stakeholders to make sure you're capturing and combining that data really. So yeah, I think it's definitely seen advances in the way it's collected, but it is putting in those hard yards initially to make sure that you've got a data set that gives you a lot of advantages when you move into strategizing. And I think management ongoing as well, Rich. That's once you've done the collection piece, that is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, you make a really valid point, because it can feel like a bit of a lift getting all the data centralized and gathered from down the sofa or wherever it's been up till now in various countries. But the reality is, once you've got that together, it's even more of a challenge if you then allow it to just go static after 3 to 4 months. So the ongoing management of that data set to ensure that it remains up to date and doesn't fall into a decentralized series of spreadsheets that you can't trust the accuracy of is crucial. It's not just about the resource cost of having to continually regather it again in a decentralized model. It's actually thinking about companies start, and this is definitely a recurrent theme in the disruption that we've been having around now. Companies are coming out and making stronger or even the first commitments publicly around sustainability, around carbon, what they're going to do in terms of energy efficiency and reduction. And that means you need the accurate data. So even more now, you absolutely need to make sure that you've got central visibility of your data so you can trust it and make sure that it's valid, and obviously then make commitments externally with confidence as well. So that seems to be a real key piece to me. I think maybe the other piece around this is talking about that point of convergence and just how people are. I was really struck by what you said a couple of minutes ago about how data is there, but how are companies getting insight from it? Once they've got it together, what's the tip to really get them driving insight from it?
Yeah, I think it's having the reporting suite, isn't it, and being able to provide the right data to the right people at the right time. And when you're looking at that, it's making sure that you've got clean, validated data in the system, and then you're able to use it across a number of different areas. We'll see a lot of the data that comes in from supply contracts, invoices, provide a foundation for some of the sustainability compliance you mentioned there, and having that accurate data is all important. So there's a lot of efficiencies that it brings to allow you as a business to take advantage of that, but making sure that you've got a platform that gives you specific reporting. So as a business, you can actually track and trace your bespoke key metrics that you need to see as a business to either provide accountability around the business to ensure performance, or reach out publicly to make some of those stated goals. So yeah, there's definitely that convergence that fits nicely into what we class as active energy management, really, Rich,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking about active energy management, it's important to remember as well that we're talking about reporting as being a key thing for driving business decision making and driving strategy around sustainability and those sorts of things. But actually, even in its fundamental principles around management of your supply,
Yeah,
the cost saving elements of making sure
yeah,
that all your invoices are correct can't be
yeah,
ignored, and it's one of those things that's almost taken for granted. But when you consider the error rate across invoices, typically 3 to 4% is commonly viewed as an error rate. Well, that's quite a nice chunk of money that can be coming back to your business that would otherwise be going wasted if perhaps it wasn't being validated to the right level in a localized
absolutely.
kind of structure, I think, as well. So that's another key thing for me, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that summarizes it nicely, doesn't it? There's a lot to do on just check that the basics are being done,
Yeah.
and you're seeing some of the wins that should be seen as identified easily as a business, and making sure that that's provided across your full portfolio and not maybe in just the key markets. So you've got a holistic approach to seeing that portfolio, but then building on that to be more advanced with your strategies and supporting some of the sustainability goals that you're making. I think we've got a lot of case studies and some great content out there to provide businesses an overview of what can be done and how we can support businesses on that journey, Rich.
That's our perspective on things. Really interested to hear what viewers of this clip are thinking, and how it's reflecting their own businesses as well. So
Yeah, and I think it would be really keen to hear from businesses then where they are in this process. So if they're centralized, decentralized, or still really just getting an initial handle of what they do as an overall business from a data perspective. So please do comment or reach out to myself and Rich directly, and we'll be keen to engage.